Welcome everyone to my channel. It's OP, the fitness animator, senior animator in the video games industry. And in this video, I'm going to talk about this animation breakdown of this free hit combo that I did. And I got a lot of people asking me like, how did I break it down from reference to blocking to splining to polish? So we're going to dive into that, check it out. And if you haven't already, please guys, if you want to level up your animations, check out my course. A brand new course has come up. People are enrolling in it. Check out the link in the description. You can go through the webinar and everything. And if it suits you, go ahead. If you're ready for it, if you want to level up your animation skills, it's all there for you. So without further ado, let's dive in and have a look at the process of how I do the animation from blocking, from reference to blocking, from splining, and to polished final render. Okay, guys, let's dive straight in. All right, people. So this is the breakdown. So this is what I normally do. I film myself, and in reference, what you're doing, you're not always copying the reference exactly. There are some cases where people do, but references, they're just to help you break down where positions of the hips are, where the weight is in the character. You can use it for timing as well, but obviously in animation, you kind of play around with the timing in Maya, and get that right feeling that you want. But mainly, you're just breaking down the main areas where the actual change, the key poses are happening, where the changes are happening in terms of the transfer of weight and the kinetic movement of the body. Which way, when it's moving, which way is direction is it moving, and when are the changes, when are the steps happening? That's what you're looking for. So, for example, here. So if I play the animation, I've marked on top of it. If I play this. There. See, that's basically the animation. Okay, and I did another take. Okay, and you can see you'll see in the animation I've exaggerated it. So this is just, I'm just trying to get the movement. All right, how are the hips moving? What angle are they at? Shoulders. And then what I do, I come back here and I'm like, okay, let me mark it. The shoulders and hips are opposite like this. Then there's a line. Then I look at the line of action. See, there's a straight line. There's a strong line of action here. Sorry, I'll just use yellow here. But you see, I've did a strong line of action there. Then here, here also, I'm looking at the hips, shoulders as well, and just trying to get a sense of what angle are these, going at. And I'm looking at, line of action again. Here too, you got the shoulder, you got this line of action in the arm going through, spine. Here too, I'm just breaking it down. That's all I'm doing. And then obviously here, from here to here, there's a contrast. You got a straight line going through the body, this way, as I pointed. Then you can write little notes down and stuff as well. Like, all the energy, the force energy is going this way. So stuff like that. It's just there to help you break down. All right, what are these poses? Because when you're blocking, you just want to, you're not offsetting or doing nothing. You're just blocking each and every pose how you want it exact. You're sculpting each pose. And then there was another version I did, was a front version here. So here, I just wanted to see again, let's put this, what angle is everything? Green one this time. Let's check it out. Here as well, I'm trying to see, is the character, right? Is it balanced? Is there a balance in it? How is everything? How is the overall shape? This one seems, it looks balanced, but off balance, slightly, because hair's a bit more forward. But obviously, I think it's the camera angle too where I'm at, because I'm not falling down. So just little things like that, like line of action again, shoulders, hips, you want to check out. Foot position I was looking at as well, where are the footwork is very important. Moving the feet adds that weight as well. Again, I'm checking here for balance. Again here, I'm trying to see the flow in the body, the line. Where can I get those nice line of actions coming in? Or even the, you have like an S shape there, going in through the back. Hip angle, and then the spring up, the squirt. So that could be a squash and stretch right there as well. So then you've got the long arrow going up, line of action here. It's like a squash and stretch, you can see. So you kind of can plan the squash and stretches. So here you can be like, all right, this is overall shape is a circle. Then when I come here, it goes into a rectangle, you know. So those little contrasts. And then of course, you know, here I'm trying to find as a nice line of action here in the arms and shoulders. And then you've got the back. And then you've got a nice line of action coming down like this. So that's all I do in reference. That's in a nutshell, that's how I do the background. I just try and see, okay, which angle are the hips at? When it's stepping, where's the weight? Is it this way? Is it that way? You know, is it following with, it's balance basically, is the character in balance? That's what you're looking for. And then once I've got that, then I go into Maya. And then what I do, everything here, you can see I've selected everything here. Just turn the mesh off. And you can see in my graph editor, everything is in stepped. So what we'll do, we can go through each pose. So everything is in stepped. And it's just exact to the T what kind of poses I want. And you can see I've got one. So at the bottom, I've got all these key poses, right? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. 22 keyframes. And when I play this, there, I'm getting that blocking and timing right. That's all I'm doing. And I'm looking at it in the front top view. So if I just do that, then I'm also checking out in the top view. Make sure everything's working all right. And then you can make minor adjustments. And the front view, make sure the weight and everything. And then obviously this was early blocking. And then I refined it a bit. Side view. So then here I really take my time and I'm finding, all right, what's the idle pose? You know, what's the appealing idle pose? And I'm looking here. I'm looking at the line of action, you know, coming in, the hips. So I'm just looking for that nice flow going through the whole body. And then from there, it's like, okay, from there, we got anticipation, then the swipe going forward. I'm trying to keep, obviously, all the poses clear. And then there's like here, I'm just trying to like just carve out line of actions and stuff like that in the arms or whatever. The pose, it feels appealing like here as well. You've got this straight, like in the reference, the energy. I wanted the energy and impact to be like forward. So you're really taking your time in the blocking to really get exactly what you want in terms of the energy, the force, which way you want the attacks and everything to happen. And here at the end, you see it just goes back normally to his pose. And in the final, you see in the polish, I kind of made him spin, not spin, but kind of like go back a bit more in an interesting way rather than just a boring way. But also what I'm doing is, and you know, every animator works differently, but I'm also, once I've posed everything out, I'm consciously thinking about the trajectory of the hips. So I'll choose the hips and I'll go to the, let me go to the animation, draw edible curve, and I'm looking at the hips, you know, I'm just trying to see, all right, are the hips smooth? Are they working nicely? Is the settle? Obviously here, it's a straight, it's going straight here. And in spline, we'll start refining and curving, but you're just trying to get a general gist of, all right, is this character following a nice arc? Is the poses following a nice arc? You know, at the top, is the left and right sides following a nice arc? You know, is it smooth transitions like here? I could, like, for example, here, we go back, maybe bring this in a bit because it's not as smooth, you know, and making the movement less abrupt. So I'm always kind of thinking about this. I'm thinking about the same arcs in the legs as well, you know, the legs. But it isn't exact. It's just a general gist of how I want, which direction I want the character to go in, and just make it as smooth as possible. And then what I'll do, once I put when I put the key poses in, like I might put this pose in and this pose, then I might come in between. For example, if I do this, okay, I do this, right? Normally, I mean, I blocked everything out, but if I delete this, Normally what I would do, I'd go there, and then I'll go in between, and I'll be like, okay, how does this pose, how do I get from that pose to that pose? What's the arc going to be? So is it going to be backwards? Was it? Let me just delete that. So we're going to have a little anticipation. So we're going to make it go backwards a bit, right? And then that's all I do. I just start breaking down the animation. So when I come here, so for example, here to here, right? So for example, say if I didn't have that middle curve, so I just block this and this. I'd be like, all right, let me go in the middle. Well, what arc do I want this character to do? Do I want it to go over? Do I want the arc to go like over, like that, like this, or under? And for this particular case, I'd like it to go under. So I'll just bring it like under, have a nice, oh, wrong one, that one. Bring that down. Yeah, I want it to go like, follow a nice curve like that going down. And then you can even go in between that. So you could go, when you're splining, and start refining the curves like that. But we'll talk more about that when we do it. But that's normally what I do. I just go in between the keyframes and start adding nice curves in, just to get a nice smooth center of gravity, cog control, hip control, because the hips are everything. If the hips are messed up, everything else is messed up. And now what we'll do, we'll move on to the spline, and I'll show you what I do with the splining. All right. Okay, so now we've selected everything and we've just splined it, and let's have a look. So this is where I'm splining, and first thing I'll do is I'll sort out the feet. Make sure what you'll get is with the feet, you'll get a lot of this and this and this, right? When you're splining. And even here you might get that. Here, look, overshoots there. This is early on in the spline. So what I do, I come in here, anything on the floor, flatten them, depending on the animation, but not generally flatten everything, so that the feet flatten this. So if you, I'll show you an example. If you, for example, this one, this was overshot, right? Now, when it's overshot like that, yeah, as you know, when you overshoot, very common, the foot goes forward a bit. Can you see it there? This bit, it's going forward a bit and then back. That's because of this bit. So if you flatten this, so if I come in the middle here, watch the foot, it's going to lock there, see? And that will stay in place. So it's very common that happens when you're splining. All for beginner guys out there, sorry. And yeah, I'm just, now what I'm doing now, I'm just refining. So I'm doing this, going back, refining, checking the arcs. Here you can see the arcs. They're still a bit wobbly. So I'll come in and start refining. And that's what I'm doing. And then what I'll do, I'll open another file up here. So let's go to, say, splining 4. So what I'll do here, this is the finished version. So then I'll come in and I'll just start polishing a lot more. I'll come in here. Look at the arcs. And here, like, that's all I'm doing. I'm just polishing, but I'm polishing to this camera here. So I've got a camera all set up to that. And that's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just going back, breaking it down, seeing, all right, once the hips are working, I might even start. Sometimes people, what they do is they can delete the arm and then work on that straight ahead, come back and work on that. And then just keep on just breaking it down. As long as you're getting the hips and, the torso, you're getting in the torso, you're getting those shapes, C shapes, reversals, right? That way, you're getting the reversals in. They're the main changes you're going to see, the C shapes. And line of actions, as you can see here, you're getting those line of actions in. But that's it, you're just slowly refining. In the blocking, you're playing around with the timing as well, make sure the timing's right. Then when you come out into splining, the timing can be a bit off, so you can play around a bit more with that before you start moving keys around. And then it's just a matter of just going through each area, checking the arcs. Then you might get another one, check out the other one here and check the arcs out here. You can do it for the wrist as well. You can create an arc for the wrists. And then, just tracking and going through and seeing if they're working. I mean, this was locked to this particular camera angle, so I'm checking it out. But it's good to do it in 3D and finding out how everything is working in 3D. And then at the end, I just created all these animations for all these extra things here, like, you know, that gives it a bit more of a believability, you know, which adds to the character. The bag as well, you can see the bag there. Just gives it a bit more believability. So that's the stages I use to block out, to do the reference, block out, spline. Normally with the blocking, as long as you're blocking as true as you can to the timing, and that means even if you end up keying on all twos, you know, really try and sculpt and get everything working really well in the blocking in terms of the arcs as well and everything. And then the more you can get detailed in the blocking, the less you have to do when you come out of spline. Generally, you know, that you want to get it as true, your timing as true as you can in the blocking, and then come out spline. And then all you're doing really is just cleaning up the curves, checking the arcs, and making sure everything's working correctly. The timing's all more or less there. Just adding all those little details, like, you know, stuff like these ribbons and the bag and what have you, the sword impact, all that kind of stuff. Then you can add all your motion blur and trails and everything, all that fun stuff, right? That comes after. Fingers too, you know, you add a bit of that overshoot in the fingers. I added there. But yeah, that was my workflow. That's what my workflow was for this particular, well, all of my shots. You know, I film myself. Reference is so important. I can't stress that enough. Reference, study the reference, check out the hips. The reference is there for checking out the shoulder positions, hip positions, spine positions, balance, poses as well. Poses, it is for poses, you know, when you're doing these shots which are jumping in the air and stuff. You want to find those key poses, and then you're pushing, exaggerating those poses. That's what they're there for. It's not there for you to copy the reference, because when you copy the reference, there's no texture, there's no substance there. It's just, you're just copying from real life. With animation, you want to add that little bit more, depending on what you're doing. You want to add that stylized kind of push to your poses that will make it more appealing, right? The appealing is part of the principles of animation, and the exaggeration is, this is why all these principles are in there. So just go through that list, the timing, posing, everything from principles of animation. It's all, everything in the principles you put into your work, basically. So this is the process that I use. A lot of, I mean, every animator has their own way, but the initial reference checking, blocking, most of the animators go that way out. And, you know, when you get a lot of experience, then you can do it from your head. You know, you can do it pretty quickly, because what you're doing is, when you're studying these references throughout your years in animation, you're building a library in your mind. And obviously, you know, you're doing this day in, day out. So you're going to get that imprinted in your mind. You're going to, same thing with people who draw, you know, you're drawing. What's happening is you're studying all this information, and this information just gets stored in the library. You do it every day, you know, it becomes a habit, and that's all it is. All right, guys, I hope that breakdown helped, and you found something out of it that might help you during your workflow as well. All right, guys. Okay, guys, so if you haven't already, you can check out the link in the description. If you want to enroll and level up your animations, you know, and get your show reel up to that level where you can get that breakthrough job in the industry, or at least be considered, you know, when you apply to be in that consideration list and then get that breakthrough job. You can enroll, click on the link in the description, and join the other students out there who are, you know, really like enjoying the course at the moment. So yeah, apart from that, have fun, enjoy animating, stay healthy, go out for a walk, you know, look after your health and all that stuff. Stay consistent, disciplined, and persistent, and you will see results. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video.